So I have this life, and I have this job, but I found out that just being a slob was a thing I knew. So drive on through.
Hey everybody, it's BadBrad back again with another theme for my Nexus 4. I just wanted to show you this to start off. This is my locker screen that I'm just working on right now for this theme. I'll be putting that up shortly for you guys to take a look at. With my the theme that I've got running here, I've got most of it fairly straightforward. All of these little icons and stuff set up here are using simple text widget, which allows you to create your folders and then hide the icon and just use text instead. So zoom in a little bit there for you so you can see it. And one of the other neat things is where I've got the weather icon in the corner, I'm using Super Widget there. So that's actually a live widget that kind of works well with the theme. It shows the weather as a floating device in the corner, just like some of the other graphics that I've created in Photoshop for your wallpaper. Super Widget pretty much all over the place. Widgetzoid on the bottom there for the power toggles. And then on the secondary screen, I've just got a nice little space where you can use your favorite icons. I'm using the general basic Jelly Bean stock icons. I think they work well with the theme. They've got kind of a bit of a 3D look to them. I tried a few different ones, but I just felt that was the best way to go. I also am using Neat Calendar, great little calendar widget here that allows you to scroll through. And on the other side, I use the calendar or calculator widget, and just gives you some flexibility, but really pretty straightforward design, gives you lots of flexibility, and hopefully you guys enjoy my tutorial. So sit back and watch it, and hopefully you can get this set up on your phone. Thanks.
Okay, let's get started. So the first thing that we need to do in order to set up this theme is to copy the files that I've included in my zip file over to your phone. Okay, so if you plug in your phone into your computer, you're going to see on a Nexus 4 something that looks like this: internal storage. Okay, you just have to either double click on that if you like, or you can even just copy it straight onto this folder that's here. And then you take the files that I've supplied, you unzip that folder, and then you're going to see 6 different folders: one for data, one for fonts, one for simple text, one for themes, one for Widgetzoid, and one for Super Widget. I hope all of these work. I think I've included everything properly, but if you have any troubles, let me know. I'll do my best to give you guys what you need. So all you need to do is just highlight these folders, click and drag them, and just let them go right on to your internal storage. And what that's going to do is it's going to send over all of the preferences that you need for each thing on your phone and for the theme. It should be all in the right place, so you shouldn't have to do too much after that. Okay, so once we've done that, we need to make sure all of the apps and widgets that I've noted need to be installed. We are going to be using Nova Launcher Prime along with a few other widgets. So please make sure those are installed first. It'll make things a little faster for you to go through them. Okay, so once Nova is installed, you will notice when you click on this little home button on your phone, it's going to pop up with a choice now. You have the choice of using the stock launcher or the Nova Launcher. So we want to make sure that we're selecting Nova Launcher, and then we click on Always, and that just makes it so that we no longer have the default launcher popping up on our screen. Okay, so now I've left a few things set up here just to make it a little bit easier to work through, so we don't waste as much time on a few finicky little things. So I've got my icon still on here, and same thing on my favorites page. I've just left my icon so I can go back and set it up a little faster without having to redo every icon. Okay, but once you've got Nova installed, your screen will not look like this. It's going to look like the default screen. Okay, we need to do this first. Okay, before you see any of these boxes or restore to widget and all that, we need to do a backup restore. And all we do is we double tap on the screen, kind of in this area, And then we're going to see our Nova settings that are going to come up. Okay, it's giving us this previous launcher thing. If you want to get rid of the initial launcher, you can click down on your menu here and then just swipe the one that says launcher. I'm just going to swipe all my open apps and stuff out of here so that we've got it all done. So now we've cleaned that all out, and that just gets rid of the default settings for your launcher. Once that's done, we just scroll down and we go to near the bottom. It says backup and import. So tap on that and then tap on backup, or sorry, tap on restore. Once you tap on restore, you're going to see one called Mad World. You click on Mad World. Are you sure? We say OK. And it will now bring this up for you. And the nice thing about this is now all the widgets that I was using are all in the proper spot. You don't have to worry about positioning them or anything like that. You might need to position the text for play, work, news, etc. Okay, but I'll go through that with you anyway so you can do it. Okay, so what we want to do first is we want to set the wallpapers up. And we're using a tool called Multilive Picture Wallpaper. And all we do is we just hold our finger down on the screen, right where the mouse is, and it's going to come up with wallpapers. We click on wallpapers, and then we want to click on live wallpapers. And I know you're not going to be using a moving live wallpaper, but multi-picture live wallpaper is something that runs through this part of the operating system. So we click on that and then we take multi-picture live wallpaper, and then what's going to happen is you're going to be able to, by default it's showing me one of the Mad World screens, but we can click on settings and then it's going to bring up a number of options for us. Okay, now there's a few things we can know about multi-picture live wallpaper. The first thing is common settings. Sometimes we want to set up our common settings so that we don't have to add every single wallpaper in all the time. You might choose to use one wallpaper more often than others, so that's the one that you typically choose for your common settings. So if I tap on common settings, I can then select my picture source by clicking right there and then select single picture. And it's just going to bring up your gallery like it normally would for anything. We click on Mad World and you're going to see the 3 different wallpapers I've supplied. So this is the simple one and it just doesn't have the worlds on them. So if you want to use a calculator, calendar widget, or something that's taking up more space, you might even choose to make one screen where you want to put a whole bunch of icons on there, so you've got one big screen that's full of icons. Go ahead and select that one, okay? So once that's selected as your simple, you just hit the back arrow here to go back, and then you can start selecting individual screens. I currently have 5 set up on here, but you might choose to want more. So if you add individual settings, you can go and click on this and it will come up with a option to add more screens, okay? And you can just keep adding as many as you want. I'm going to hit cancel. I don't need any more. So the first one we're going to do is screen number 1. So I'm going to click on that, screen 1 settings. The one that I've selected, I don't want to use simple. I want to use, or actually I just want to use common settings because that one is going to use the simple one. So that one I would set to common, okay, and then I click back again. I go to screen number 2. And this one is the main screen, okay? So this one I'm using Mad World Main, and I'll just show you. Tap on that, click again on single picture, click on Mad World again, and then we're going to take this bottom one here with the little extra planets and all the rest on it. It's kind of cool. Okay, and then once that one's done, we go back and we select third screen, and the third screen we are going to use Mad World Secondary. Click on picture source, click on single picture, click down here at Mad World, and then we're going to select the middle one. Tap on that. Okay, hit back here, and for 4 we can click on that. For mine, again, I'm using common settings, so you don't have to do anything if that's preset already. That one's just for my calculator, and we're good to go. Okay. For 5, I don't know why that one is even there. Actually, it shouldn't even be there, but we won't worry about that. I've only got 4 pages on my setup, so we will leave that as is. Now, when we click back, it will give us the option to say set wallpaper. So we just click on that, and it now restores our screen and gives us all these great little pictures and stuff there. So had a great time making this, by the way. I did find this main image on the internet, and is a free wallpaper that I found, but I went ahead and I made a whole bunch of other things in Photoshop. I added this little mine for work and the satellite for news and the other things. So hopefully you guys have fun with this. So now, very easy to start setting up the different components here. And I'll go through what these ones are in the middle because you can't really see these on the design itself. But the first one we're going to tap on is up in the top right corner. And this is a Super widget. And you guys, once you tap on that, you should be able to see the options in the library that I've supplied. Super widget does give you a bunch of preset styles and things that you can use, but you can just scroll down until you see it. And the one you're always looking for, the word Mad World on there. I've got a bunch in here, so from other themes I've done. So you guys can just kind of keep going down until you find the one, and it is called Mad World Header. Okay, and you can see that we've got the little custom weather icon, which is really cool because it actually looks sort of like it's part of the design, but it will change with the weather and start to just make it look very cool and 3D. So we just tap on that, and then that will restore the information into that widget. Now, the one thing about Super widget that I've mentioned before in other themes that I don't like, but it's still a minor inconvenience, you have to tap it again just because the sizing gets a bit wonky, and then just tap back to go back, and it will restore it and put it in the proper size. And I think it's just sort of a widget resizing thing that's not quite 100% set up on there yet. So, okay, so the other thing that you can be aware of is I'm going to be putting this desktop visualizer icon on top. And this, all I'm using this little house for is my main app drawer. So this just becomes kind of like home is all my apps. So I've made a desktop visualizer on that. But the one thing is that you should be aware of is that all your widgets can actually be moved forward or backwards. So if I hold down on the Super widget, you'll see here where it says bring to front, send to back. We want to make sure that this one is sent to back, because otherwise it will overlap on this, and if you tap it, this may come up with its settings. Okay, so just be aware with when you're using widgets, you can move them forward and backwards. And in my Nova Launcher settings, I've made it so that widgets can overlap and they can cover more space. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to tap on this top one by the house, and that will just restore the desktop visualizer icon. And you could choose to make this bigger or smaller if you wanted to. You could resize it and move it down a bit so that it's just on the house if you like. It just kind of is a matter of how you want to make it easier to position when you're clicking on things. So once that's set up, then you just tap on desktop visualizer. And we don't want to use an icon for this, okay? So we just click select icon, and if we don't want an icon, we have to use simple text icon creator, okay? So we're going to click on others, okay? And that will bring up all of the different icons that we've downloaded and that we're using. We're going to scroll down until we get to simple text. We select that, and I hope that this one has saved into your settings for you. If I have so many of these different text settings that I've made, it's hard for me to actually reference which ones they are in in the settings for simple text. So I have copied the folder over for you, and I think I've managed to select them. But if I haven't, basically what we're trying to look for is this one icon here is black, and unfortunately the other ones up top are also black, and it's just because simple text doesn't show us when we use a darker color. It just kind of blocks out the color, so it's a bit wonky that way. But I do have one in here where what I've done, and if you can't find the one that I did, you can just make your own. And all we're doing is we tap on this one right here, and it brings up the styles, okay, for this particular text. You click on this second T on the side, and right here, if you were going to be putting text in, you would tap here and you could type whatever you want. But because we want this to be invisible, I just have removed the text from this, and it essentially just makes an invisible icon. Okay, so you could go ahead and you can use a transparent PNG file if you have that, if you want to do that as a gallery image, if you're experienced, you know how to do this. But for the novice user, this is a great way to do it, and I just save this one, so I always have it, and then it's part of my system. So when you want to save the icon, if you've made your own, you click up here on the top corner for the 3 dots, and what you want to do first is click on Save Style if you've created something new. And what that does is it now saves it so it's available again. If you already have it saved, you can just click on Save Icon, which is what I've done, and it now will put that into your icon choice. Okay, and now the icon or the action that we're going to select is going to be an other again. Okay, and what we're going to be using is we're going to be scrolling down to Nova Launcher. Okay, and Nova gives us some great options. One of them is App Drawer. So we just tap on App Drawer, and that will now launch the app drawer when we pull it up, okay, when we click on it. Now the other thing you want to do is we don't want any text on there, so we just hit clear, and then that will remove, and then we scroll down. One other thing is by default, Desktop Visualizer tries to give you a color to use when you tap it. You could use the red one if you want. It'll give you kind of like a little highlight when you touch it. So if I click on red, it'll do that. Sometimes you don't want a color because it makes it look a bit weird when you tap it. So you could just say none, and then it will be gone. Okay, and then we don't, the vibration I don't like, but if you do, you can turn that on. And then we just say okay. So now you can see there's nothing on there, but if I touch the house, it now brings up my app drawer. Okay, and you can see kind of there's a little, well, you might not see it on yours, but it goes red slightly. Okay, so the second one that we're going to do is very similar to the one we just did. I'll go through it a little quicker. We're using Desktop Visualizer, but I've made it a little larger, okay, and I've just held down on it and I've resized it by moving the corners and stuff, and I've pretty much taken up the whole world there. And what I use for this one is I actually use it for voice search. So we'll go ahead, we'll click on Others again. We'll go back down, scroll away to Simple Text. I'm going to select the same one that we did before for the transparent icon, and I just click up at the top and hit Save Icon. And then the voice search one is great there because it's a big space, and if you do use voice search like I do, I like to use it if I'm driving and I want to say something quickly to call somebody or whatever and use hands-free, then you just can do that. So you click on Select Action, and then you select Launch Application. Okay, and then that will bring up all your apps, and you just scroll all the way down to V. We find voice search. Yay for voice search. Okay, again, we'll hit clear, and for this one I don't want it to make a big green blob or anything, so I'm just going to select none and then go ahead and remove the color. Okay, and then I'll click OK. Okay, so now we're back, and if I go ahead and just tap on the world, it brings up my Google search. Yay, Google! it's trying to find things, so we'll go past that. Okay, so that's set up now. And then the next one is our time and date. So we click on this. This is a super widget again. We bring up that, and then we scroll down. And all we're looking for again, Mad World, and this one is called Mad World Time and Date. Okay, and you can make your own. You can use the fonts you like. You can do what you want. I am using the font that is called Walkway. I think Walkway, I believe. And it's included. It's a free font. You can apply it. I like it. It's very elegant looking, and you can. There's a few that are lighter or bolder, and you can do what you want. So you tap on that, and again, you're going to see it's a little bit wonky at first. It's not lining up properly. So we just tap again on that widget, brings up our super widget. We click back on here, and it will resize it and fit it in perfect. Okay, so now we've got that in the right spot. At the bottom here, we've got Widgetsoid, and Widgetsoid for me is an absolutely fantastic power toggle widget. It gives you lots of options. You can play with it if you want to go in and click on that, but I've saved a profile for you, and this one you just click on profiles, and I've used the one that I've called Single Gray, and you just click on Single Gray, and then you click on Load All. And then it brings up your icons. You click on Apply, and then it will load it into the bottom. Now I'm just realizing that I did forget to save the color on this one. So you can play with it. You can go back in to Widgetsoid, and one thing that you can do is you can bring up Widgetsoid in your app drawer, and you can just go ahead, and if you scroll down and you click on Widgetsoid, it will bring up your Widgetsoid preferences, and you can click on Widgets, and then it will show you the one that you've already got loaded. So if you tap on that and hit Modify, it will just bring it back up for you, and you could go ahead and you can do some changes. So if you click on Theme and you want to change the colors, you just click on Choose Indicator Color or Icon Color. Okay, so we click on that, and then you can select black, or you could do a custom color if you wanted to. You can go down and select what you want. Maybe you want it to be a little bit blue, like the background color. So once you've got that, you just tap on the color, and you'll see that it's darker now. Okay, and that will be a little bit more suited to what you need. And if you want to delete some of these icons out of here, if you don't use them, you just tap on there, you can hit delete, and it will just get rid of the ones you don't want. And if you want to add more toggles, you can click here, and you have a whole list of toggles that you can go in, and you can click add toggle at the bottom, and you got a whole bunch of different ones you might choose to use on there. But what I've got, I'm pretty happy with there. I just keep it fairly basic on the bottom on this one. It really suits having 6 or 7 icons at the most, 5 to 7 or something. Okay, we click apply, and then I'll hit back with the back arrow, and now you can see we've got a nicer tone here with the black and gray. It seems to fit. Sorry that AirDroid thing keeps popping up. I keep apologizing in my tutorials for that. I can't figure out how to get rid of it, but it needs root access to be able to do this, and it keeps asking over and over again. Okay, so now as you can see, we've got our screen looking pretty darn good. The one thing that you're probably not going to have is the text links here for news, play, and work. The first thing you need to do is you need to create your folders. Okay, so if I tap on work, you'll see my icons come up, and these are all the ones that I've just sort of associated with work: file manager, eBay, calendar, whatever, backup, those kinds of things. And you'll have different ones depending on what tools you use, or what news you read, or what you like to play games with, or whatever you consider play. So you will have to go in and first of all create your folders, and you just drag all your icons on top of each other, and they all create a folder. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this one here for work, and I'm going to just click on it, and I'm going to select, I hold down on it and I select edit. Okay, so I'm going to click on now right here on the icon, and I'm going to just select default, just so you can see that if I say okay now, that is what my default folder looks like. Okay, so it's not going to work in this design. So we want to again use simple text icon creator in order to change that folder icon from the big box or circle or whatever style you're using to a simple text link. Okay, now simple text icon creator does allow you to move the text around that square space a little bit. So if I highlight again on the icon, brings up edit, I select that, and then I tap again right here. Okay, and once I click on that, and just going back, you may choose to remove the text here. I've got in default in Nova where it's got the text not showing up on my icons, but you might need to delete that in order to get rid of the text below the icon. Okay, but we're going to click here, and once that comes up, then we're going to select icon pack. We scroll all the way down to the bottom again, and we select simple text. And now this is where it gets a little bit annoying, and it's just because simple text hasn't given us the, I can't see the text for which one it is here, so you're going to have to do a little bit of playing. So if I click on the first one in the top corner, I click again on the T, and it says news. So I'm like, okay, I got the wrong one. So I know that news is first. Click on the second one down on the bottom here. Click on the T again. Now I've got work. Okay, so that says work, and I'm going to see a preview of it right down here at the bottom. So I can tell that's the one that I want. I click back again here, and I hit save icon, and then I go ahead and say okay. And now you can see it's now put that text into the spot that I want. Okay, now the only one that is a little bit different, and I'm going to, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to include this one here. I put this into the actual Photoshop file where it says tools. The simple text icon creator widget does allow you to even rotate your text inside that space if you wanted to, and I'm thinking that there possibly is people that maybe are speaking different language, obviously, that want to use this. So I'm going to take this out of here on one of the wallpapers in case you are speaking a different language and you want to type something else in there by using the simple text icon creator. Okay, so but for what I've done, I put this into Photoshop. So all we've done for this is we've overlaid it on there, but I've used the same transparent icon that I used for home and the desktop visualizer to create that. So if I click edit, you can see that this one is just using the invisible one. Okay, so the same way we applied that, we would do the same thing. So we don't have to worry about going through that again with you. You would do the same thing for news. You would do the same thing for play. And I'm just going to show you with play, if I hold that and move it, you can drag these around a little bit. So you can see I've included the little speech bubble thing in the Photoshop file. So that's part of it. And you can just have that set up there. So I've dragged it over, and it's part of the what the little happy guy is saying on his trampoline. Okay, so that is the home screen setup, and that is pretty straightforward. Now I've scrolled to the left, and we're going to set up the calendar widget. Okay, this one's pretty straightforward. If I click on the main screen here, it comes up with Neat Calendar Widget, and as long as you've installed that, it should come up right away. You can adjust the appearance slightly depending on what you like for the background opacity. So you can adjust that. You can get rid of it altogether if you want, but because the background is a little bit lighter, you're going to want to keep a little bit of color in there. Okay, so we just click back and then just click back again, and it will add it right in there for you. At least it's supposed to. sorry, you're supposed to click Add Widget. Okay, and then once that gets added, you'll see it'll put that in there. And then at the very top, you tap that, comes up with Super Widget again. Same thing as before. We're going to scroll down and we're going to find not calculator header, we're going to find calendar header. Okay, and I've saved a couple of different ones here for you, so we keep going. This is the one we want, Mad World calendar header. Tap on that, it will add it. Again, because it's not sized properly, we just tap it again, hit the back button, and then it will do its thing and boop, resize it. Okay, now this weather, I actually let it overhang on the top here just to kind of make it look a little bit like it's raining on the calendar or sunny or whatever it is, and depending on how the icon changes, this will move around a little bit. And again, you might want to change the opacity on your calendar. If you tap right here beside the time, it will bring up the calendar again, and you can go back to appearance and maybe you choose to make your opacity 30%, so it's a little bit lighter and it tends to look a little better. So we go back, so now it's kind of a little more translucent, gives a little bit more of a style. Okay, and if we want to, we can hold down on this and we can say send to back, and that just ensures that the weather is over top of it. Okay, so now we'll go back over, we'll slide to the right, and we'll go to the favorites page. This one's pretty straightforward. Again, you've already done this once. We tap in the right corner, we're going to select the Mad World header right here, tap it again, hit the back button, it will resize. Down here in the bottom, we tap that one, we go down. This one is called favorites, I believe. Mad World favorites, are you there? Should be here. Sometimes you have to search for these things. Hope I saved it. Maybe I didn't save it in there for you guys yet. Okay, it looks like I forgot to save that one, but I will have it in the file. So for now, what we will do is we will just choose the main time and date. Where are we? I apologize, I'm wasting time here. There we are, Mad World time and date. We select that one and we tap it again, we hit back, and it resizes it. Now just so you know, if you want to change some of the text and things in your Super widget, it's very easy. You just tap on it again, and then when that comes up, you can click on Layout. And then the text is right here. You can click up on the plus here. You can add all kinds of widgets in there, different text. If you just want to change it so it's just pure text, you can just tap on the image and you can adjust and do different things with these things just to make them your own. So go ahead and play with Super Widget. I think it's one of the best widgets out there right now. And you'll like it. Okay, so I'm just going to go back for now. I'm not going to bother typing favorites in there. You guys can do that yourselves. When I will insert the one that does say favorite, so you can go ahead and change that if you want. And we've done the same thing on here for the tap to restore widget. That again is just the desktop visualizer that we're using with the invisible icon from Simple Text, along with the voice search. Okay, down to voice search. Got that. Okay, we hit clear. We don't want it to be orange. We say okay. Okay, so there's the second page is all done. That was easy. You can go ahead and put all the icons you like in here. Again, I've just used default. I think they look pretty good. You could remove the widget from here if you wanted to put another row or two of icons instead. Totally up to you. Play with it. The last one that we're going to do is on the far right side. We'll tap in the middle here. This is the calendar 10 themes, it's called, and I don't think I had put a screenshot of this onto my color screen page, but if you search the Play Store for calculator widget 10 themes, you will find it. Okay, so all I have to do is I'm using the white motive. There's a whole bunch of different ones that you can select from if you want to go through them, but I'm using this white one. It's nice and it's transparent. You click on that, you just say accept, and you can change the button size and things if you want. You can play with it depending on how big your screen is. Click on accept. That fills it in, and then up at the top we're just going to add the Zooper widget in like we did before for the one called calculator. We scroll down too far and we go Mad World calculator header. We tap it one more time to go back and refresh, and now it should look good there. So now, and you can see here how the rain kind of goes over top. It's kind of neat. Okay, so that is all she wrote, people. We've now got everything we need to do the Mad World theme by BadBrad. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you like my themes, if you like my tutorials, please give me thumbs up on YouTube. Please give me some love on mycolorscreen.com. It's BadBrad, checking out. Take it easy.
Sitting on the edge